JEP TV.
It is my pleasure welcoming you today on the program Event on JEP TV. I am Fumilayo Okorafo. Today on the program we are bringing you away the Coronation Lecture held in Abia State, Arochukwu, precisely to celebrate the 9th coronation of Arochukwu, His Eminence Dr Eberechukwu Oji. It was, of course, the event that took place in the evening. Day one was, of course, an interdenomination service. Thereafter, in the evening section, there was a lecture. This lecture drew together men and women of Arochukwu Kingdom. It witnessed the presence of men and women, sons and daughters of Arochukwu Kingdom, who came together to learn, to be taught, to be educated. The lecture was, of course, a very educative one, as a whole lot was talked about. This is what we are bringing your way today on the program. But please, JEP TV covers events of all sorts. We cover your event with multi-cameras, with drone, with photography, with all our gadgets to ensure we give your event classy coverage, and we broadcast it right here on this very platform. We also stream your event to a mini audience comprising of your guests, your friends, your relatives, well-wishers, family members who could not be present at your event venue in person. And we are going to also edit the full video and broadcast it right here with studio presentation, just as you were saying right now. Use the phone numbers right there on your screen. Give us a call today. Let us know when is your event coming up. What is your location and what is your date? We'll be there to do business with you. Straight on, let's go see the coronation lecture held to celebrate the Eze Aro of Arochukwu Kingdom.
Oji, Eze Aro the 9th. Ogadrege na mma. Wokoma de mma. Onye Chukwu tere mmanụ. Okporo ọkasịa. Eze Aro. Eze Eberechukwu Oji.
Welcome to Alpha Plus Hotel, venue for the coronation lecture organized in honor of Eze Aro the 9th, His Eminence Dr Eberechukwu Oji. All the guests, which comprises of traditionalists, chiefs, clergy, business mogul, etc.
Nekelekwa Iji Nzukaro, Mazi Dozi, Nekelekwa First Vice, Okay Mo, Nekelekwa Iji Women Swing, Mrs. Chibuzo, Avan Oyekwere, Ogadego Nanudelo, Arewezi, Gedo Maka Governor Abia State, Mokomarima, Alesi Otini Gazi, Waru Mwama, Ana Mekele Mazi Oji Kano, Nekele Mazi Joshua Eni, Oji, Royal Fathers.
The event commenced with Aro National Anthem.
Aro, Aro, Aro,
There was an opening prayer.
We are calling on Eze Aro to give us the opening prayers. Of mighty name. Amen. In the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Our most faithful God, we worship you. Father, we thank you because from generation to generation you remain the same. Jehovah El Shaddai, Jehovah Nissi, Jehovah Shabbat, we worship you. Father, we want to thank you for this new dawn of a new era. Father, we know that you know the thought that you think towards us as a kingdom. Father, health will be our portion. Prosperity will be our portion. Father, as we continue, may we continue your presence in Jesus' name. Father, come and take preeminence. For in Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen. And the saints will say, Amen.
Next was traditional breaking of the kola nuts.
Matter of Igbo culture. So we are going to observe that. The kola nuts should go to the chairman of the National Council for Coronation Celebration, Professor Amaramiro. Please, can you give the kola nuts to him? He presents the kola nuts to the President General of Nsukkaru, Mazi Dozie Udensi, who eventually presents it to His Eminence Eze Aro, who now hands it over to Eze Aro for the blessing. I think that's the process. With every sense of humility and purpose and the evidence.
Also, Eze Aro Coronation Lecture, Eze Aro Coronation Lecture. I am a producer. I have a son. So, what people, Mama, I'm a Ndamata. I want to carry the photo. I will carry it. No, Namata. Okay, Chairman, Arochukwu. Taa bụ ụbọchị dị iche na Arochukwu Kingdom. Ọwụ n'okorobịa ọbara ndụ ka dị n'azị. Anyị na-arịọ gị ka o buru arụ garuo n'isi njedebe. Anyị na-arịọ gị ka o buru arụ o mee ka arụ aha ijikwa anyị arụ oke Igbo ka o ruo n'isi. Ekwe ọchị anyị ga-ata ekata n'ụlọ isi ike maka n'uru n'ịbụrụ otu nke Arochukwu Kingdom n'aha Jesus Christ bụ onye nwe anyị.
This is a high point of the event as Mazi Oji Ogbonaya Oji delivered the lecture which addresses tradition, digital age and challenges of convergence.
The President General of Eze Aro Coronation, President General of the Women's Wing and Health Delegation, the Chairman of the National Coronation Celebration Council, my good friend, Professor Baramiro, Professor Oji, another scholar, a very good friend, the high table, Mazi Mawadeni, my neighbor and good friend, also the high table, Professor Vice Chancellor of the Delta State University, Obi Emesu, who is representing the English professor that spoke in Igbo. Eminent our sons and daughters, so many to mention, and I particularly pay respect in view of the subject matter we're discussing today to Professor Coronation, the Emeritus Professor of History and one of our surviving family partners. The deserves a round of applause. All the members of our club that are here, our prominent sons and daughters, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all for the very elaborate discussion, very elaborate introduction that has been made. And I, with humility, thank my brother Dr. Oji for the able way he articulated, ascribed certain achievements to me, and I do appreciate this with all humility. This lecture is anything but a journey into our history. I don't have that competence, and the people that can really delve into our history, many of them are here. Professor Coronation is one of them. The lecture is everything that an attempt to trace the genealogy of our throne and the process of its ascendancy. Again, I don't have that competence. I believe that historians and scholars of ancient Aro history will do a better job than me in these areas. This lecture is therefore about the middle of Eze Aro tradition, the unfolding digital age, and the challenges of convergence. How will tradition, digital age, and all unfolding ideas that are new come together and meet at a point? And to examine these issues, I plead with you to take a journey with me to islands where we can find ideas, exposure, case studies, and some lessons we can learn. In this journey, we will seek to find key traditional institutions and how they adapted to these concepts and and dynamics of societal transformation to shape their existence and remain resilient, relevant over the years, especially in today's knowledge age, driven by innovation, information and communication technology. I was in Geneva, in Switzerland, from the 16th to the 25th of this month, on official engagement. When I began to receive multiple phone calls, and I was apprehensive if anything had gone wrong. And these calls keep coming at the peak of my meetings. And they were coming from people I could hardly ignore their calls. Because these people don't call me and say there's something important. I stepped outside, took some of the calls, and the message was the same. The Eze Aro Coronation Oji, the Eze Aro Coronation Council has elected to deliver the coronation lecture on Eze Aro's coronation celebration event. And you are free to speak on any topic of your choice. We are calling to seek your confirmation and acceptance of the assignment. That was the message. I am there, greatly honored, immensely grateful to the Council for the opportunity to deliver this important public lecture as part of activities marking the coronation of Eze Aro Coronation Lecture, a good friend, brother, His Eminence Dr Eberechukwu Oji. I'm particularly very particularly thankful to the committee for giving me an open check on what to speak on. Mr. Chairman, Your Royal Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, I have chosen to speak on an area of my immense passion that focuses on the throne of the Eze Aro, the rich tradition of our kingdom, Arochukwu, and the rapidly unfolding digital age that has changed humanity in a manner that no one ever imagined in the current decades. The importance of this lecture has also arisen because the Eze Aro throne and our tradition are currently faced with challenges associated with digital age, which have changed or is far changing the way we think, the way we live, the way we walk, the way we speak, the way we do business, and most especially the way we communicate and relate with people around us. ICT has changed all of that. These changes are moving with the speed of light as we speak, and no one can ignore these changes. My dear brothers and sisters, Senior Chairman, in the midst of this rapidly changing world, driven by knowledge, information and communication technology, which neither Arochukwu nor any other established kingdom is in a position to stop, resist, avoid or isolate itself from. Even in the midst of our people's strong reverence to the throne and Aro to a contemporary body of knowledge in literature of British history, recorded various forms of historical events that triggered reforms in aspects of the character, culture, and nomenclature of the British monarchy. These reforms were in response to their alignment with changes in society, responsive to demands and aspirations of British people, or both. An example of the open vote reforms carried out by Queen Victoria, who ascended the throne as the Queen of England in 1837. Relevant to our discussion. At the time of our reign, one major issue of concern to the people was the labor and the job crisis brought about by industrial revolution. Besides, the traditional leadership was perceived as being too involved, far away from the people, and in no position to understand citizens' frustration. The traditional leadership under Queen Victoria knew exactly what was going on. Initiated major reforms that addressed this and repositioned the monarchy and reconnected the traditional institution to the people. She instituted the culture of neutrality in politics by distancing the monarchy from active partisan politics and limiting the monarchy to ceremonial duties. In this way, the British monarchy continued to get itself reformed and then respond to the citizens' frustration. Beyond Queen Victoria's era, the British traditional monarchy has continued to open itself to criticism, public opinion, and increasing public demand for reform. The signing into law of the Succession to Crown Act of 2013, the oldest monarchy in the world, bowed to public pressure with one of the most profound and courageous reforms. The Succession Law of 2013 ended the system of only men can ascend the throne. To ascend to the throne in case of any vacuum, before then, only men children can ascend the throne. The new legislation driven by reforms of the institution also removed the disqualification of the person who married the Roman Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic who married from the Roman Catholic Church. Before, if you marry a Roman Catholic, you cannot be either king or queen of England. That has been removed. The new reforms still open opportunities, eliminated religious prejudice, stopped discrimination, promoted gender equality, and ensured that the succession process reflected the egalitarian principles of modern British society. The impulse of these groundbreaking reforms induced just 11 years ago gave the British monarchy a new image, strengthened its reputation, and rebuilt very strongly its trust, confidence trust in the institution as an institution that is open and continuously evolving to meet the dynamics of society. Besides, these reforms modernize the monarchy, allowing it to with modern contemporary values of the society, such as gender equality and religious tolerance. Scholars of British history have argued that current radical behavior of some members of the royal family, notably Prince Harry, who relinquished his royal duties and privileges and relocated to the United States, he presented a strong protest against the traditional monarchy. He said, over what analysts perceive as what the royal family did or refused to do when his mother, Prince Diana, died in a Catholic motor accident, and his father quickly moved and married Queen Camilla. Prince Harry's current strained relationship with his royal family can also be described as another case study of the protest of the interplay between the throne, tradition, digital age, and challenges of convergence. In Japan, another established rulership and existing legislation called the Imperial Household Law, a new law that is called Imperial Household Law, which allows only the male gender exclusive rights and opportunity to ascend the throne. That law is now the subject of public debate and agitation for reforms, resulting in succession crisis in that kingdom, because there are no men in that kingdom, men are few, and the vacuum of that throne has existed over 20 years. The men there are few, men don't have for the fact, they don't have men. So the women are saying, can't we take over? In Saudi Arabia, in the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the current crown prince has introduced set of comprehensive reforms, socio-political and economic reforms that include succession plan as a major component of the ongoing reforms. The consolidation of power in the crown prince represents a shift towards a more centralized and potentially more stable succession planning, moving away from the age-long traditional complex and opaque process. The reforms in Saudi Arabia seek openness and align with modern economic and social reforms, such as allowing women to drive and the recognition of the linkage between modern-day traditional institutions, tourism, tradition, and tourism and entertainment industry, and investment. These reforms are part of broader strategy to modernize the country open Saudi Arabia for business while maintaining the monarchy's central role. Apparently, reforms seem to be paying off, as Saudi Arabia has witnessed remarkable growth in tourism and entertainment, and in recent years, an obvious example of rapid growth witnessed in sports. Most sporting talents are now heading to Saudi Arabia because the system keeps opening up. Now we are back home. Let's look at traditional institutions in Nigeria. In Nigeria, as I try to put this study together, the absence of documented information and data constituted major obstacles to the possibility of adequately tracing, locating and properly locating and situating how well-known established kingdoms, traditional and digital age have contended with challenges of convergence. In Africa, we unfortunately dwell more on oral tradition and hearsay than documented history. The popular traditional thrones and institutions with similar status like the Eze Aro Coronation Kingdom in the pre-colonial and early independent Nigeria include but not limited to the throne of the Oba of Benin, the Obi of Onisha, the Olu of Tuwari, the Oba of Calabar, the Tonti, the Bonbonjos, the Obi of Ife. These have similar challenges to contend with clash of tradition, civilization, digital aid, and the challenges of convergence shaping the future in a new democratic society. Honestly, the history of the new kingdom reflects its resilience and adaptability through various periods of change, from the ancient origins to its current place within modern Nigeria. The case study of the Benin Kingdom and the reforms that integrated the Benin Kingdom into modern state with clearly defined traditional roles resulted in the 20th century cultural revival of the ancient Benin Kingdom. Since independence, the Benin Kingdom has witnessed a surge of global interest in Benin bronzes and restored the significance of the Oba's role. Today, the Oba of Benin still holds a significant cultural and ceremonial role in Nigeria. The kingdom's history and art, to the source, has become a source of national pride. The Sokoto Caliphate, apart from the ancient Benin Kingdom that appears stable under the constitutional monarchy of Oba who assumed the throne in 2016. The others, including the Sokoto Caliphate, founded by the Islamic scholar Sheikh Osman Al-Fodia in 1804, are also under perpetual fear as a result of threats of one form of challenge of instability or the other to contend with. It was quite shocking to me recently when I read the media Sultanate under siege, and I quote, "Relations between the government of Sokoto State and traditional institutions are fast degenerating, with Governor Ahmed Ali planning a new law on the appointment of traditional rulers that seek to grant him absolute power to appoint and sack chiefs to the state. Governor Ahmed Ali has already had the proposed legislation approved by the State Executive Council for onward transmission to the State House of Assembly." In the same publication, a non-governmental organization known as Muslim Rights Concerns Group was quoted as alleging of a plan by the Sokoto State government to depose the Sultan. Governor Ali has denied the allegation while responding to a statement by Vice President Kashim Shettima, I'm still quoting, whose attention was drawn to the unfolding developments in Sokoto. Governor Ali wrote on Twitter, and I quote, "Governor Ali of Sokoto State tells Vice President Kashim Shettima to always check facts before commenting on sensitive national issues." Responding to Shettima's comment on the need to protect the Sultan of Sokoto through his spokesman Abubakar Bawa, the governor said Shettima should have contacted him to verify the news, which made rounds on the purported plan to depose the Sultan, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, before going public. Governor Ali said the fact of the matter is that there was never any attempt to sack the Sultan. End of quote. Despite the governor's denial, recent developments indicate that the state government is indeed working with the state assembly to introduce a legislation that will significantly diminish the long-standing power and influence of the Sultan. Events in Sokoto further substantiate the argument that time-honored traditional authority in an era of democracy where it must recognize and adapt to dynamics and challenges of modern society. The challenge here is tradition, digital age, the challenge of convergence. Now, the Kano Emirate. The sudden removal and banishment of the 14th Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, which happened openly, underlines the growing tension surrounding stability of traditional institutions in Nigeria. The recent developments and current situation in Kano, where we have one emirate and two emirs, is scary. The Kano Emirate also between blood relations of the same royal family is a very big concern to many who have looked at the Kano Emirate tradition and culture with so much respect and reverence. As I put this lecture together, no Nigerian except the courts have any idea who is now the authentic Emir of Kano. The Oba of Calabar. In Calabar, the throne of the Oba of Calabar has been subjected to a series of instability arising from series of litigations up to the Supreme Court. On 20th November last year, the tussle over the Oba to the center stage at the Supreme Court. The fight took a new dimension as some members of the Tubon Traditional Council, ETC, the palace of the Oba of Calabar, accused Governor Masio II late government of supporting illegality by supporting Edidon Epo Masio II the fifth as the Oba of Calabar. The rival camp led by the chairman of the Tubon Traditional Council, His Royal Highness Tudon SM Peyon Efron, cautioned the state government from embarking on an illegal action against the Supreme Court judgment. That throne is still under threat. Now, on the traditional institution, the respected throne of the Obi of Onitsha, Igwe Alfred Achebe, came under attack following the Igwe's meeting response, apparently protesting the unilateral removal of some traditional rulers in the state by the governor, Professor Charles Soludo, without consultation with the Obi, who is the chairman of Anambra State Council of Traditional Rulers. There were strong rumors of a great grand plan by the governor to remove the Obi and the chairman of council and possibly dethrone the Obi of Onitsha. This rumor raised very high tension in the whole of Southeast region and across the country because the Obi of Onitsha, in the current circumstance, is seen by the entire Igbo nation as the only remaining traditional institution that carries the Igbo identity in the national arena with grace, pride, and dignity. Therefore, attempts to demystify the Obi will be viewed as an attack to the dignity and pride of the Igbo as a people. Omonosho Obachitos. On the 25th of June this year, the selection and installation of Afolabi Olaoye as the new chair of Omonosho in Oyo was nullified following a series of litigation. One of the contenders on the stool, few weeks after Olaoye's selection by gay beggars and approved by the Oyo State government as the new chair of Omonosho on 2nd September 2023, went to court. The stool had become vacant in December 2021 after the death of Obachibo, Yewulehu, and reigned in Omonosho and Shehu of Omonosho for 48 years. Democracy and the crisis in traditional institutions. Mr. Chairman, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the traditional institution in our country at the moment is currently faced with complex challenges of attaining a convergence between the drone, tradition, and digital age, because we are in the age of knowledge, we are in the age of openness, we are in the age of transparency, we are in the age of accountability, and we are in a democratic society. The country's return to civil rule came with expansion of civic space, press freedom, human rights, constitutional order, resulting in constant, frequent public engagements on social political issues that constantly targets the way things are, the status quo in citizens' agitation. This citizens' courage and freedom to question virtually everything, the past as basis for accepting and rejecting the present and projecting for the future, are on the increase. These agitations on the traditional institutions question virtually every aspect of traditional authority, including justification for military arrangements, the exclusion of certain classes of citizens, and the need for inclusion of everyone. In the Arab settlements across Eastern Nigeria, the increasing agitations by those who claim to be natives and those described as settlers have resulted in violence, communal disturbances, displacement and social dislocations of Arab in most of our settlements. Most traditional institutions are viewed as either authoritarian, oppressive, non-inclusive, or undemocratic. The citizens argue that the 1999 Constitution as amended assigned no rules to traditional institutions. Section 42, subsection 2 of the Constitution clearly established that no citizen of Nigeria will be subjected to any discrimination or deprivation merely by reason of the circumstances of his birth. The 2023 Economic Democracy Index is a global journal that I personally subscribe all the time that analyzes political and traditional institutions across the world. Disclosed that out of 167 countries global, only 108, which represented 64.6% countries, sampled, are either full, flawed, or hybrid democratic regimes. The survey also identified 59 countries representing 34.4% of the nations covered by the study as authoritarian regimes. Like a record. As authoritarian regimes, the India report asserted that authoritarian regimes survive where political pluralism is either detected, restricted, or replaced by absolute monarchies or dictatorships, with rigid media control, legislative, restricted civic space, censorship, poor electoral processes, controlled judicial processes, and caged judicial systems. The ordinary citizens' agitation to closely link traditional institutions to undemocratic system of governance. Against this background, a close examination of various established traditional kingdoms in Nigeria shows that many, if not all, are faced with difficult challenges of which even threaten their legitimacy and foundation of existence. Now, the Arochukwu Kingdom. Mr. Chairman, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in my contribution to the book, expected to be published as part of the coronation, The Making of Eze Aro by Professor Oji, renowned scholar and emeritus professor of history, I made the point that reforms will not happen. They are caused, they are triggered. However, the known and unknown triggers of reforms are not the focus of this lecture. I won't dwell on that. But most reforms that seek to interrogate the status quo in this case means the way things are. Most reforms that want to question the way things are. Most reforms that try to interrogate the status quo beyond tradition are all inevitable. And most times difficult choices. And they are driven by change, they are driven by time, they are driven by environment, they are driven by circumstances that could hardly be ignored by anyone. This includes economic, social, political, cultural, and dynamics of society that shape humanity, environment, and events. Currently, you hear all kinds of agitation, people are planning, protests. All that is required is some kind of reform to provide a response immediately. And I think something in that direction is being done. In the making of the recent Eze Aro Coronation Kingdom. This recent current one, His Eminence, the current making of Eze Aro, I listened carefully. It's quite interesting to find there were three major opinions, different opinions that have shaped the public debate. Each of these groups that have different views try to drive home their points, their respective arguments in various forms and dimensions. And when I speak, you will definitely find which group that you belong to. The first strand of the argument is favoring those who say tradition or nothing. For those in this group in Aro, all they know is tradition, culture, nothing but culture. These groups believe that the making of Eze Aro must be strictly followed according to how it was in the 18th century, even when we are in the 21st century. They also believe that the subject matter should be viewed from the prism of culture and tradition only, end of story. Their view surely and surely depends on source knowledge from oral accounts passed from one generation to another. We ask them for documented evidence, they don't have. Besides, the group's sense of archival information seems to be quite vast. The narration of their experience hidden in prejudice, discretion, and myths. They narrate the story to suit their arguments. The Aro in this group include traditionalists, some educated elites, many in the land, medium and small-scale businesses, cave workers and rural dwellers. The age distribution of those who are only traditional in the making of Eze Aro, their age group varies. This group, for more implications, understands the importance of reforms. They will choose to appear resistant because of personal interest and allied prejudices. They may recognize or even have full understanding and knowledge of how and why our traditional institutions should align or adjust to unfolding dynamics of society, but choose to debate on the matter. For them, practical changes in society that includes expansion of roles of traditional rulers between culture and tradition to advancement in science, knowledge, technology, institutional building, market forces, and role of the state and non-state actors, no matter how, does not matter to them because they have something to lose if changes happen. This group felt ignorance of the importance of modern day leadership recruitment process as critical success factors. They stand to protect the hidden agenda. The conflict or problem emanating from this position or school of thought can be better understood with a book I read called The Clash of Civilizations and the Making of a New World Order, written by Harvard scholar and American political scientist Samuel Huntington. In that book, Huntington made the point, and I quote, on January 3, 1992, a meeting of the Russian-American scholars took place in the auditorium of a government building in Moscow. 2 weeks later, the Soviet Union has ceased to exist and have become history, while the Russian Federation has become an independent country. As a result, the statue of Lenin, which previously graced the stage of the auditorium, had disappeared, and instead the flag of the Russian Federation was now displayed in front of the hall. The only problem one American observed was while they were handing the flag, they turned the flag upside down. After this was pointed out to the Russian host, they quickly and quietly corrected the error during the first intervention. A remarkable point which can be deduced from this apparent mistake from their own quote by Huntington is that years after the Cold War, witnessed the beginning of dramatic changes in people's culture, tradition, and identities. And the symbols of those identities began to turn upside down. just like the Russian flag. Following the collapse of communism and the emergence of a bipolar world order. To this end, global politics began to change, to reinforce along cultural lines. Upside-down flags were a sign of the transition from old order to reforms, opening the gates to new ways of thinking, new ideas, and new ways of doing things that move with the time, people and events to respond to the changing dynamics of society. Another key message in Huntington's book is the fact that tradition and cultural identities, which at the broadest level were civilization identities, began to be used to shape patterns of economic development, socio-political systems beyond human comprehension. On this note, it's obvious that the Aro traditional institutions can no longer resist positive reforms that are not only required, necessary, important, and impactful, but make sense to attain progressive and developmental contributions. The second school of thought situates the making of Eze Aro in the 21st century beyond tradition. This group recognizes tradition and they say it's just above tradition. There are other conditions. Those in this group are many Aro scholars, economic, social, and bureaucratic elites in the organized private sector, public service, top professionals, technocrats, students, and Aro school professionals abroad. They are leaders in their own rights, just in this group 2, with influence in Aro Kingdom. Majority of them fall within the ages of 50 and above. One striking feature of this group is their high level of education, experience, and good exposure in Aro culture and tradition, but in addition, public policy decision making. The group therefore believe that as the leader of Aro Kingdom and custodian of Aro culture and tradition, the making of Eze Aro should be more than tradition. They apply requisite skills to include knowledge, global exposure, competence, integrity, finance, and sophistication that should be attached to their own role. With cultural processes and elements are quite essential, they differ sharply in terms of content and application in the making of Eze Aro. For instance, why this group believes that the emergence of Eze Aro should be and continue to be the exclusive reserve of the royal family members. I repeat, this group strongly believes that the emergence of Eze Aro should be and continue to be an exclusive prerogative of Aro royals from the royal family. They felt strongly that the era of laying claim to that throne by royal family members based on self-entitled mentality is gone. This group therefore advised the royals who would want to aspire to Eze Aro too, that the time has come for such aspiration to be considered as a big project and therefore requires any preparation in life to actualize such aspiration. They were vocal in their advocacy, and the truth now and in the future needs a leader who is willing and appropriately groomed to lead. This group further argues that the preparation should require, and above other things, deliberate and tailored quality education built on strong character, ethical and sound judgment. It also needs early exposure to acquisition of management skills and leadership training, and most importantly, feasible means of livelihood. The argument here is that being an Aro royal is one major condition, no doubt. They should not be all about it. The group gave instances where high-ranking traditional rulers in Nigeria who command enormous respect and influence in society and the society can trace their background to quality preparation in life, quality education, and career growth. We invited Aros to understand that Sultan of Sokoto was a Nigerian military, where he rose to become a equivalent to general in the army. The Oba of Benin was in Nigerian foreign service, where he rose through the ranks as a career diplomat to become an ambassador before he became Oba. Similarly, the Obi of Onisha was in the oil and gas industry, where he rose to become the director of the share. The Bonbon Jos was a career custom officer, rose through the ranks to become Controller General of Customs. The Oba of Lagos served in the Nigerian police and retired as Commissioner of Police. The Emir of Kano, the 14th Emir of Kano, Lamini Sanusi, was a renowned banker and economist who served the banking and finance industry in very high positions, rising to the highest position of Governor of the Central Bank. To mention that a few. Others in this group argue that the making of Eze Aro should please follow this pattern. The main argument of this group is that traditional institutions currently have become beyond culture and tradition. These institutions in Nigeria and elsewhere have become elements of community access to government, community access to power, community access to economic opportunities, investment, tourism, policy making, and a lot more. Even when it is usually seen as a non-political office in many quarters, traditional institutions with high-flying personalities open doors. There is a video that is circulating now. Of course, we know that the Asaba and Pasaba have died. There are contenders to that role now. 3 of them are professors. We have Professor Azikwe is one of the contenders to the throne. And when he was bringing out his CV, is intimidating. And yet, there are 3 other professors that are buying. Is that the kind of people that we assemble in Nigeria, and we have an Eze Aro that is less qualified to go and attend the meeting? The role of government, the making of this same group further argue that believe that the Aro Kingdom to meet this emerging trend, the making of Eze Aro in the 21st century cannot and will never settle for less. They further argue that the new information and technological innovation that currently shape the direction of human, social, and economic development and make the reforming of the Aro traditional institution inevitable. The role of government at all levels is another area that this group examines. They urge Aro to wake up to the reality that the role of government in making of traditional rulers, including the Eze Aro, is both constitutional, legal, valid, legitimate, and overarching. They also recognize the fact that local, state, and federal governments have enormous powers in the making of traditional rulers, and these powers are derived from the Constitution, and Aro should recognize that. The group therefore views as a major error of judgment for anyone to ignore or neglect the role of government institutions in making of a very influential tool and the making of Eze Aro. Government is there, a major stakeholder, giving strong linkage between conflict prevention, management, and resolution in one hand, the role of the state, security of life and property in the other hand, and specific role assigned to traditional rulers in their respective domains. The governor is the chief security officer of the state, and then for him to maintain security in the state, he has a say in who becomes traditional rulers in various kingdoms. How he manages that is a matter of debate, but he definitely has a role to play, because there is staff of office. The same school, that's the secondary school, parents, a The rationale behind the conclusion in some quarters that the Abia State government in some form in the making of Eze Aro by issuing staff of office for some interference. It is not. It is most welcome and is quite in order, and this group added. Now, the third school of thought is called the Aro of Defense. This group is the Aro of Defense. Is the third group. This group is fully aware of the making of Eze Aro. Have nothing to offer. It appears have something to offer. It appears excluded from the discussion and the process, probably because of their social status. Although they have some ideas, information and suggestions as regards decision-making process, especially who did what, where, why, how, they cannot contribute because they are far away from the table where discussions are made. So they reserve to their face, they sit on the face, whatever they decide to follow. This group therefore largely depends on secondary information from their leaders, from hearsay, via power talks, health salute gossip, as well as social media. You know, this group, which is essentially in majority, is commonly referred as the ordinary Aro indigenous of defense. They cut across all ages, young and old, and include businessmen, uneducated, very educated, traders, taxi drivers, getting drivers, Okada riders, market men and women, artisans, village dwellers, food vendors, etc. This group is based on the opinion of their leaders to determine their role in the affairs of the kingdom. And by their large numbers, they are willing tools, easily mobilized for protests and demonstrations by the elite in canvassing their particular interests in the whole process. They are also major contenders, major favors, and architects of rumor mongering, fake news, disinformation and propaganda because they have limited or no access to quality information. Notably, their positive contribution of this group in participating in the making of the Eze Aro is through cultural displays, masquerades, info, the making of the Eze Aro will be done and all is present if this group is not involved. This group is both major stakeholders in the process and unfortunately the most likely victims of poor leadership or any poor selection process. They have the beneficiaries of good governance also approved in this group. Therefore, in the making of Eze Aro, they are major stakeholders and going forward, there must be a way to incorporate them into the process. In the midst of this known and unknown Ghanaian views and the three schools that I mentioned, I'm inclined to agree with the position of the second group. Reforms, whether economic, social, institutional, represent compelling, timely response to dynamics of change. Order, please. In his book, New Meaning of Treason, Rebecca West argued that men must be capable of imagining and executing and insisting on social change if they are to reform or even maintain civilization and capable to of punishing the rebellion which is sometimes necessary if society is not to perish of human beings. The point underlined there by the author is that the only way not to step on toes is to stand still. You don't want to step on toes, you stand where you are. But if you want to make a change, there must be people that will protest. And we are managing them. When I look at the contribution of the Eze Aro Coronation, I think the second group has won. It's important to know that reforms don't seek reforms. It's important to know that reforms that seek to change how things are always attract resistance from those who profit from the tax system. As well as those who stand to gain, who stand to lose if things change. They will fight every tooth and nail to resist change. The losses can also be social, cultural, economic, or political, but the benefits to society are more. Therefore, the time for Eze Aro to seek ways, to seek ways and opportunities in the making of Eze Aro is now. Dr. Eberechukwu Oji, His Eminence, represents the reform, the resources, the time, today, tomorrow, the future, and the new thinking that this lecture is openly canvassing. The potentials of using traditional institutions, including the Eze Aro Institute and a platform to recreate Aro Kingdom by uniting its over 300 settlements across Nigeria as a tourist destination is enormous. The potentials are visible in our rich history, our culture, and our tradition. All this is missing if we don't have the right leadership, capacity, and content awareness that we require to lead. We find that in our current UK. Traditional institutions and tourism and close. Traditional institutions of the British people is a revenue earner to the UK economy. We saw cattle, Frogmore House were the most popular royal estate locations in the United Kingdom in 2023. The site alone recorded 1.1 million paying visitors between 2022 and 2023. While the figure denoted a significant increase over the previous year, it remained below the number of admissions reported in 2019-2020, prior to the onset of COVID. MP Brand Finance, which prides itself as world-leading brand valuation consultancy, estimated that the royals contributed £1.77 billion. £1.77 billion to the UK economy in 2017 through a combination of crown estate revenues and indirect benefits for tourism, trade, media, and arts. Brand Finance also estimates that the monarchy's grant contributed £2.5 billion to the British economy during the same period. In Nigeria, as a result of strong leadership exposure, the Benin Kingdom has a well-educated urban, knowledgeable Yoruba of Benin, following coordinated strong global advocacy campaigns and missions and campaigns. Missions and universities in Europe and America last year returned looted Benin artifacts in their collection to Nigeria after over a century. Do you know how much those artifacts are worth? They are in billions of dollars. Last year, the government administrations of the United Kingdom and Germany transferred the ownership of about 121 Benin artifacts to Nigeria. Do you know the cost of each of these artifacts? Now I ask, where are the Arochukwu artifacts? If you look back, are we saying no artifacts existed enough over all that we did in the ancient days? How do we obey them? Against story, who is leading the advocacy and campaigns for the return of our artifacts? Globally looted during our British War and many others. These are enormous cultural treasures that can become source of enormous revenue to our kingdom and the government if we're addressed as tourist destinations. That can only happen if you have a well-educated, exposed, and resource king as we have now. Finally, points to those. Mr. Chairman, there are still certain issues to to note that came out strongly from this lecture, which I intend to highlight. 1. The throne of the Eze Aro is highly revered, admired, respected, and celebrated by all Aro, including in diaspora. And to sustain this significant position, there is a need to deliberately support and work with the royal family to ensure that those who seek the throne prepare for leadership from day one. The second point, our own kingdom, our culture, tradition, and administrative organs must begin to open itself for reforms because change, knowledge, and digital age has come to stay. It's no longer a dream, no longer an idea, but a reality that has no boundaries and can no longer wait for anyone. 3. Reforms do not mean losing what you have, but making the best that you have to last for you. 4. The role of government in the making of traditional institutions in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond world over is real, legal, constitutional, and legitimate, with many peculiarities in some societies, as the various case studies highlighted in the lecture and shown. 4. Tradition, culture, and institutions of monarchy, similar to what we have in Arochukwu, have since become instruments for investment, tourism, hospitality, entertainment, leisure, services, and Aro has all the potentials to explore this going forward. Finally, an elite consensus, and I repeat, an elite consensus is urgently required to review and interrogate through knowledge and evidence-based constructive engagement on key issues that I have raised in this lecture. Conclusion. Mr. Chairman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by stressing that we must acknowledge that the Eze Aro institution represents one of the highest symbols of identity for every proud Aro man, Aro woman, anywhere in the world. I am glad that we, the Aro, understand and appreciate this with the highest degree of consciousness and consensus. It's therefore important that we protect and guard it jealously. However, we must constantly devise strategies for ensuring that the institution continues to evolve to serve our common purpose and our common needs, continuously stabilize and accelerate development in our land and our people. In order to achieve this objective, we must jointly agree on the need for the institution to stay in tune with the dynamics of modern society, maximize the inherent opportunities, and find a way to minimize our risks. It's time to push the boundaries of what is achievable within the Aro Kingdom. Together we can build the future of Aro that we earnestly need and desire for ourselves and for our children, the future generations of posterity. I therefore have no doubt in my mind that our new king, His Eminence Dr Eberechukwu Oji, represents a strong bridge between the past, the present, and our beacon of light into the future. Thank you very much. This is a classic of story meeting. We must go into discussions about the lecture because we have a few plates of those who are going to come against us. But there is something, the best, this some peace, please, so that people can hear us, please. But one area I will drop something before I invite those who will correlate what you have said. Is the experience I had when I was the country economist for the IMF office in Nigeria. I was sent to attend a course in the Vienna Joint Institute of Ghana, and in that short period, I visited the Chambon. The Chambon is the cultural museum of the Vienna people. And the narrator said something that struck me, and that has relationship with what Dr. said about heredity.
Are you done?
Monarchies. And they said because heredity is such an important issue and has generated a lot of crisis in their traditional institutions, that for any child of the royalty to be born, they have to make sure that that child was born in the public. Therefore, if any wife of a royal is going to give birth, they are assembled in the village square. Everybody will watch the woman deliver the child publicly. And the child be raised to show everybody that he is authentic royalty. And I was thinking, if that situation comes to happen, to anyone else, how are you going to handle it? On this note, I invite the chairman and the first discusser, Professor Lezo, to deliver his remarks. Thank you. Now let me invite the chairman wants to do that. He's still preparing himself. Let me invite our distinguished Iguala, Mazi, the frontline philanthropist of the community. Please come to the class.
After the lecture, there was a review.
Marvelous job. This job can actually pass for a doctoral thesis. I don't know, Professor, what do you think? If you look at the bibliography, you can actually say that, hey, you did probably 2 weeks research on this. So I'm not going to interrogate that because I didn't read all of those books and articles. But I'm going to go forward to where concerns me and to various thoughts and others. And that's been sort of talking about the Aro Kingdom and the meeting of Eze Aro. You're actually looking at 3 groups, the first, second, and third. And if I ask you which group do you belong to, I know the obvious answer. Group 2. Am I correct? Yes. Good. I'm going to speak for the people in group 1. I'm also going to speak on the people in group 3. But if you ask me where I belong to, I'll let you know later. For the group 1, where I'm coming from with this is like we need to continue this collective and constructive engagement of all the groups. We cannot sideline anyone because we are all Arabs. And we are all stakeholders in this kingdom called Arochukwu. Yes, not everyone will jump in the boat, but continuous engagement is quite necessary. And that engagement, I've seen it happen before. I read about it in this kingdom. You can actually send it to two, sounds very enticing, but I think especially it was really biasly written for group 2. There is obvious bias when you read group 2. All the whole lot is group 2. He said, and you know it, and you own it. So if I write for group 1 and I belong to group 1, I'll do okay. So now where I'm coming from is this, that the group 1, London, you can probably not like their ways and stuff, but they are very, very factual, like you said. Without them, there would be no Aro Coronation. They will dance the epic that we're talking about, they will dance the echo that we're going to watch tomorrow, and they will also be on the street talking about the coronation. And you dare not tell them that they are members of Arochukwu and the rest of them, and Colanos, hey, they will give you the music that goes along with it. With all your PhDs, professorial or whatever. That is Aro-free. Also, in group 2, when we have guys, people that are well educated, highly educated, and I agree with them, that we need our king to be highly qualified, with credibility, full of education and exposure, and I must add wisdom. Because in this, once again, in this kingdom, the king once ruled us for 57 years, am I correct? 73 years, I'm sorry. That king attained both international and local recognition, including CFR, British Order of Commander British Force. He did that without classroom education. He did that solely with wisdom and continuous engagement, what I read. But now, I think we have good wisdom, knowledge, all packaged in one, our courage in the making of our new king, Dr. Eberechukwu Oji. If we do have that, and also combine it with this collective engagement and interaction with the rest of the groups, I wonder what the kingdom will be. So on that note, I'm not going to bore you with a lot of other information because Oji has done that already. I only want to plead with us. I know that His Eminence will do justice to that. Continuous engagement and talking to those other groups. Thank you.
On this note, I invite Professor John to register.
His Eminence, Eze all the great things are going to happen. Well, I'm thinking of the third, they represent the other villages. Our chairman, the chairman of the council, Alex, he mentioned our lecture. The making of lecture.
Closer.
Yes, I thought I should say one or two things. First, we are probably the first for the making of lecture. Luckily, Kami is here. When Vincent Okoro was eventually ascended the throne, we thought we should do something and we wrote the making of Eze Aro. Essentially funded by me, but I get the intellectual input and some money too. When Aro decided, and he was given his eminence was given staff of office. Luckily that year I get the vote of thanks. Went back to Soka. A week or two after, I thought we should come up with the second volume of the making of Eze Aro. They contain 6 chapters. About 1.5 months ago, it was ready. I can also written because chapter 6 has something to say about what we think about Aro, about the new Eze. He talked about engagement. He said he supported, if I remember, I will say about yes, he talked about engagement with the first group and he's already convinced he's in the second group, but there should be some engagement. And I can't remember, my country also said something, you know the scientists doesn't work, but there's something there, and so on. We can also, the book, I thought would be ready by now, but the committee of actors made it not, but it was really about sometimes. It's now with the publisher, and it won't be ready. I need to phone me a few days ago saying what is the status of the book, and I told him that this reason and the other reason made it difficult for the book to be available now. It is not available, but luckily, Ojo has also articulated some of the issues he raised there, because I had invited him. He had there's something there, and it's the second time I'm publishing it. Anito also, beyond the physical dimension, he has also been going there. So the book, which will be ready sooner than later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Eze Aro Mama. Onye nkụziri anyị ihe bụ dike. Ọ maara ihe. Ụjọ na-atụ. Na ebe ma ọ bụ anyị mara ebe ọ nọ na nke ya. Enyi nwoke dịka tozuru etozu ekwukwe na ọ dị mkpa emere nwoke emere ya echetakpata mmebi ya nọ na ọrụ. Obi dị m ụtọ na ụdị onye anyị nwere dịka eze. Anyị na-anya na ọba nke ebili Doremi, Ife, Eme, Kano, Ọba, Lagos. Ewepụta ha, anyị ewepụta onye nke a. Ha ga-enye ya nwunye ụtọ dị o zuru ezu. Agụrụ m ụtọ ụdị ọmụma Jizọs abịa onye nke a ga-ejite aka bụ. Ọ dị ndị ọzọ na-achọ usoro dị ihe n'ihi na ndị ise ga-eme mmanya agapụtara ahịa ka zụta. Ọ dị otu ihe m chọrọ ịrụtụ aka. Ọ mgbe ọ na-ahazi ma ihe a na-akpọ convenience. Ọ bụ mkpokọta na mgbanwe akpọkọta abịa ndechaa ihe otu ọ gara abịa mara akwụkwọ gị gara ọnụ mara kalịka gị gara hotel nke dị mma anyị ewere nke na-adịghị nchaghị mma ajị gbanwe ya ma okwere anyị erutela dị otu ahụ. Kama o nwere n'okwu ọ sị reforms does not mean losing what you have but making the best use of what you have. Ọ nọ n'ahịrị nke atọ na the high point. Mgbe ọ gafere ebe ahụ ndị echeta otu eze nwanyị na Ghana ka pụta ya na bekee. I'm talking of Otufuo Nana Afia Tombi Abel II, the queen mother of the Ashanti Kingdom in Ghana. Despite being fluent in English, she chooses deliberately to communicate in Twi, that's her native language, as a way to promote and preserve her cultural heritage. The best cultural heritage you can give the people is the language. And the prophet by Pakarahia Eze and also people don't know. People don't talk. India, I'm not going to say an essay. Nankamozo. I had a couple of people. Only independently do this. Or do you know jauh lebih kaya semuanya hanya boleh dapat boleh jadi juga aku sudah aku jangan aku ada anti Eze, anyị ji Arochukwu na-eto ọ bụ eziokwu na ndị Igbo ụfọdụ ebe ka anyị na-asụ n'ụwa na ha egbukwu ihe dị a na ụlọ ewere atọ ụfọdụ anyị mma ụfọdụ anyị mma ụfọdụ enwe ọgba bibi eji ya mara ndị ebe ahụ enwe onye ife ejiri mara achọrọ ka ejiri ya mara ala Igbo. N'onwe ihe ọzọ anyị ma otu a mgbe mmalite ọdịda anyị mara ngabara ịma atọ masị ọmụmụ onye dị otu a amaara m Eze Oh, you got to go to the motion now for speaker, Mom. At this point, I'm very humbly, very respectively, by His Eminence Eberechukwu Oji, PhD, Eze Aro of the HRM Aro Kingdom for traditionalists. Yes.
Diabetes Eberechukwu Aro Mmammanụ Oke Igbo Mmammanụ ndị nọ n'isi oche Mmammanụ ụmụ Igbo nọ n'ụwa dum Mmammanụ ụgbọ anyị were ihe eji m ohere a na-ekele mmadụ dum bịara n'ebe a n'okwu anyị wesara iji lebara anya na ihe chere anyị n'ihu dịka ndị ahụ. Anọ m na-ele anya mgbe nwanne anyị Ọjị Ogbone Ọjị nọ na-akụziri anyị ihe. Aga ime ụlọ ebe anyị nọ zata ji. Ndị mmadụ na-ege ntị. Mgbe eji mara na ha na-ege ntị, mgbe o butere nke tọrọ ndị mmadụ tọrọ obido kwụọ aka, mara na ndị mmadụ na-ege ntị na oge ụra eburula ha. Biko ka anyị kụtụrụ oke mmadụ aka ọzọ. Ihe mere juru anyị afọ, okwu kwuru gbara ọkpụrụkpụ, ọ bụrụ okwu ara anyị asị na o siri n'igwe. Biko ekpetụrụ aka ọdọ towere ochi. Nke abụọ, ana m ekele onye isi oche anyị. Igbo ọ na-asụ na nkalịba English prọfesọ. Achọrọ m ime ka ị mara na ihe kwuru ozi ziri anyị na gbasara ozi ahụ. Nke mbụ, iziri ozi maka okwu Igbo. Ndị na-ege ntị mana nrụso n'ala ahụ anaghị m asụ Bekee maka ala ahụ bụ ala nsọ. Okwu ahụ bụ okwu nsọ. Okwu ahụ bụ okwu Chineke. So mgbasa n'ala ahụ ọ bụkwala m eburu na n'ụlọ mmadụ nke oru na fon na asụwa Bekee kama m rute n'ala ahụ asụsụ ahụ ka m na-asụ. Izigbo kwuru na chọọchị si bịa the church. We have to take ọhụụ okwu Bekee olu aza n'ọnụ pụsa mana akwụkwọ nsọ ma ihe dum. So anyị gbasara Igbo dịka onye na-elekọta omenala ahụ. Anyị ma na-awụ Igbo arụ aka eze kwuje anaghị asụ Igbo arụ asụ. Nke ọtọ ikwuru ozi ọbụghị naanị ma agape na okpokoro a awụghị naanị okpokoro ndị arụ na okpokoro Igbo. Ọbụ naanị izere n'ozi a ụmụ Igbo biznesmen ndị na-azụ ahịa ma ndị na-eme ihe gbara ọkpụrụkpụ na Lagos ruo Koroko. Nchere bụ ihe nta mgbe ejiri si ebe ọhụụ Igbo kụkatara ndị mmadụ iju zaa ebe dum ju ụgbọ Igbo ụgbọ mmụọ. Ọrụ mgbe ndị anyị nọ na Lagos nọ wosiri gwarado ama atọrọ esewo anyị zụkata ndị anyị ihe ogosi anyị bịa osi na o nwere ozi o chọrọ ezi anyị ọ nwere ozi ya ezi na ihe o chọrọ ka mara amụmụ arụ mara na eze arụ abụghị eze nke ndị arụ. Na eze arụ bụ eze ndị Igbo. Na ụka na ndị anyị ma na-achọ ịdọrọ ya ahụ nke ndị arụ nke ndị arụ o chọrọ ka o bido ngwa ngwa mee ka o doo anyị anya na ọ dịghị ebe na-aga n'ala Igbo bụ na ndị arụ enweghị mmekọta. Ọ dịghị ebe dị atọ nke ahụ nke ọmụ ndị Bekee abịara na o chọrọ ka anyị buru ya n'obi na okpokoro a awụ nke naanị ndị arụ. Ọ bụ ozi ka ịghọsara anyị na-anabata ozi ahụ. Nke atọ ya bụ na eji m ohere a na-ekele ndị chịkọtara nnọkọta anyị taa zana ndị nzukọ arụ ma PG na ndị anyị zụtara ọrụ ma petron ma ndị iko ma ndị ime ma ndị ụmụ nwaanyị nọ n'ebe a Maazị Prof. Amamiru na ndị na-arụ ọrụ biko ịnkotoro aka ma ọgbawa ụsa iji wepụsa nnọkọ anyị n'okwu anyị kwuru. Ihe mere taa ọrụ mgbe dị anya ka anyị ma mara ọrụ oke ọrụ uru n'ịkpọbata anyị taa ekwu ugbu a. Ọrụ ndị mara okwu a enyewo mgbanwe obi. Ọrụ ndị mara okwu a enyewo ume ịga n'ihu. Ọrụ ndị mara okwu a ya emewo ihe dị iche iche. N'uche obi nke mgbe ọrụ ndị mara okwu a ya gwọọ ọrịa. Biko ịnkọtara ndị zukọtara nnọkọta anyị. Ụmụnne m nọ n'ebe a, eziokwu nọ na ya bụ na ọrụ Chineke nyere m n'ịchịkọta abụghị ọrụ nta. Kama o doro m anya ihe ọrụ a bụ. Mana ọrụ a Chineke nyere m bụ ọrụ nkọwa ya adịghị oke alịghịlị, kama ime ya adịghị mfe. Ọrụ a bụ na ihe mkpebi n'ahụla anyị ebe ọ dị ukwuu dịka ụmụọrụ. Ihe mkpebi n'ahụla anyị ebe ọ dị ukwuu dịka ndị Igbo. Wee na-adịdịkwa ka anyị enweghị mmadụ. Ọnwa anaghị erukwa anyị n'oge. Anaghị nhazi ihe n'obodo anyị bụ Naịjirịa mana agbanwe zalee. Anaghị arịtakwa na o nwere ndị dị ka anyị ndị. Ma ndị ọcha ndị chịrị obodo wụ na-akparị ihe nhazi ihe nwa anaghị arịtakwa na ndị. Ọ bụ eziokwu nọ na ya bụ na mgbe ndị bekee bịara n'ịba, ụmụ ndị na-achịkọta ịba anyị ndị ahụ so na ya. Oji Eze Aro so na ya. Ile ya si na ụzọ ndị mmadụ nọkọtara dịka ndị Igbo agaghị ụzọ eme ihe na nke ofufe. Ndị ahụ wepụsara ọma aga amaza n'isi efe ofufe ya were ifu Chukwu anyị n'ịba. Tupu ndị bekee abịa, o kụziri Igbo aga eso ụzọ ofufe. In other words, the Aros had taught the Igbos before the Europeans came a system of religion and worship. Abena nke ịzụ abịa ma n'uche ma n'ụlọ agaghị ahazi ya. Enwe ike na-azụ abịa ọhụ ya gba ọgwụgwụ. Zani mgbe ọ ga-azụrụ abịa ọhụ bụrụ ka anyị. Nta ndị bekee abịa, ndị arụziri ndị Igbo agaghị azụ abịa hazie ya ahazi, nwere ike na-azụ abịa ọhụ ya daa ọgwụgwụ. In other words, the Aros had taught the Igbos before the Europeans came a system of trade at scale for international trade relations through our outpost trade structure that enabled us to gather goods from hinterlands and move them through online to the Europeans. O kụziri Igbo agaghị azụ abịa oge anyị. Abịa na mmekọ obodo na obodo, aga ndị mmadụ na ndị agbata obi ma aza biri n'udo, mmekọ ihe mee ya agba ụkpụrụ zara abaga n'aba n'agbanyeghị ma ọ dị mma ma ọ dị njọ. Ndị ahụ ziri ndị Igbo agaghị eme ihe ọhụrụ. Ndị mba na ndị mba Igbo nwere ike na-emekọta ihe na-aga n'ihu. In other words, the Aros had established a system of complex diplomatic relations with various people groups around this place before the Europeans came. And on that, I say, it's not all of it, but part of it is the distinction that guided our diplomatic relations. Ndị anyị na ndị Igbo dị iche iche nwere mmekọ maọbụ n'ọgụ maọbụ na ime ihe. Ndị na-akọrọ anyị aga ihe dị na mgbe ochie wee kwuru na ọ ga-anọ ndị Igbo na-edukata ndị arụ na-edukata ndị mmadụ zaniba pụọ ọgụ ruo agaghị gaa ebe ndị Igbo bi gagharị na mba ndị ọzọ. Just to help some people understand what I'm saying, maybe I'm going to explain this one in English. Somebody reached out to me all the way from Benue State to say, na ndị Igbo na ndị Aro nwere mmekọ mgbe nna Igbo. Na mgbe agha Zamokwu na-abịa na ndị ozi ziri Aro na bịara enyemaka n'ọgụ. Ndị Aro duru ndị ọgụ zara Aro ebe a ganyere ụwa aka. N'ọ enyemaka ndị Aro hụrụ na ndị ji ọgụ bịa n'ugwu alụrụ ọgụ ọhụụ ruo n'ọnụ mmiri. Eze Aro n'oge nke mbụ ya sị na eleba ihe a na-eme na mbịa ka enye research ọhụụ kpọrọsa ihe ọhụụ. So in other words, before the British came, when the imposition from the Sahel was coming down, the Arabs provided military might to support distant nations who were facing existential threat. The Arabs established an enforcement mechanism. Obuna serende nande ekumbi awa. Obunde na he aganya muzakije. Ndawe kwa kiomo peyo ozaga. Ebuya woganda mpulu ngoma ndani kwa. Iyo pia makosarabo. Wozala okuomo ebere ulo. Uvuya sikana na logi hao mutufuya. Opposite na wojo. Anyana choka tupa uga. Jomo heme azali okuomo. So it was a method of enforcement of law and order in the whole of Israel. Can the people know who is you in the mandate who and when Dr. Eba, no working them on me back, no working them on him on me back, and then Mother Bigarosi, now, of him, how is you? Go Eba over the man. And then when Adoza as you will, over in the man chichi. Over always a day, and see the guys are a day. Over Agana, over the mother's in all the sick, and I go as what I miss. And one. And those are our rich history that nobody can take away from us. Ọma dịbekwara anyị ndị nọ ugbu a iji hụ na agha ọhụụ ndị nna nna anyị zara jiri okpokoro wesara ala Igbo udo, jiri okpokoro nyere Igbo aka n'ịlụ ma ọ bụrụ ihe ọgụ, jiri okpokoro nyere ndị Igbo aka n'ịzụ ahịa, jiri okpokoro nyere ndị Igbo ihe dị mma dị iche iche na mgbe nke anyị oge anyị na anyị mere agụ ọhụ karịa. As our English adage says that the new generation must do an improvement over the former. So oge na anyị na-eme aga nna anyị nọ ebe na-aga ọhụ karịa. Ọ bụchere anyị n'ihu ụlọ okpokoro a na-eme ya nke mbụ n'Abia steeti. Okpokoro a na-eme ya nke mbụ n'ala Igbo. Okpokoro a na-eme ya nke mbụ na Naịjirịa. Okpokoro a na-eme ya nke mbụ n'Afrịka. Okpokoro a na-eme ya nke mbụ n'ụwa dum. O nwere ebe m ga-abụ ihe m kwuru ụmụnne anyị ndị eze na mba ndị ọzọ si ọ pụtara na anyị ga-ekwu na arụ na maka nwanne nsị aga ndị chọrọ ịhụrụ ka ọ ma dịrị ọ dịghị onye anyị na ụlọ ama aka ihe ha bụ okwu ịma aka mgbe a sị na ochie amahụ nke mbụ ọ ma ahụ nke mbụ dịrị anyị ike ọ ma dịrị anyị ike maka aka ndị si n'iwu ma dị ka ọ ma ihe ọ pụtara bụ na aga m nọ ihe onye m hụrụ na ọ karịrị okpokoro a agamowo kwetara n'oge anyị mbụnata ma ọ na national ma ọ na ibe ọbụla anyị mbụnatara obodo ya as proud Arochukwu. Very proud. Maka na anyị ga-agbawakwara anyị ugwu bọọlụ oge anyị anaghị aga. Simple as that. If they don't recognize the history that we represent, if they don't recognize the pedigree that we carry, it's not on them, it's on us to be fools around them. We will go there with our head held high. We owe nobody no apologies of who we are. We know who we are confident in our pedigree, we are confident in our history, we are confident in where we are coming from, we are confident in where we are going to, and we will surely get there. Site na amara Chineke, onye nwe Chineke ga-ebuso anyị ọtọ. Ihe dị mfu na amara anyị, anyị ma atụtụkata anyị, ebe ndị arụsị atụtụkata anyị. Chekata ya were mee ihe enwe ahụ Chineke ngọzi mbeodo
so arụ mmanụ ihe obodo ọdọbi ihe ori ihe oge obiri bụ ka m kelee ihe ọ bụrụ na efi obi o nwere onye bịara obi agaghị adị onye kpọrọ obi mma so nsị ka n'aha ndị nzukọ ahụ ikom binyo ndewonu kama nwanne anyị nwoke nke gbara akwụkwọ ka ọ gwụrụ taa ihe abụla ihe o mere aka ọfa bido n'ụwa dum na-achịkwa n'arọ biko inyere m aka kelee ya na mbọ ọ bara ya akwụkwọ nke ahụ dere maazị ọjọgo naira ndewo chairman pepa nwanne m nwoke maazị mmadụ ndewo ndị nzukọ ahụ ọsị nkele prọfesọ mahadum biko anyị ekele gị n'aha ndị nzukọ ahụ ndewo anyị ahụmara ihe gwara anyị so ndị niile rụrụ ọrụ a ndị niile rụrụ ọrụ a ma ndị na-enye aka na-enye mmiri ọṅụṅụ na ihe ọtụta biko ndewonu ndị pres ndị nzukọ arụsị kelee iwu ụmụnne anyị ndị na-ekwuru niile ụlọ n'ụwa na-ele ihe na-eme.
Welcome back. This is JEP TV. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking and sharing our videos. If you are yet to subscribe to JEP TV, what are you still waiting for? Please subscribe to our channel today. Follow us on Facebook. Let us know. Drop your comments on our comment section. That was, of course, the coronation lecture held in celebration of the coronation of the 9th Eze Aro of Arochukwu Kingdom, His Eminence Dr. Eberechukwu Oji. It was a very classy lecture. It was a time to learn. This is how it ought to be. To this, we want to say a very big congratulations to the Eze of Arochukwu Kingdom, His Majesty Dr. Eberechukwu Oji, and to all Uzuko Aro Worldwide National Coronation Celebration Council, and all our sons and daughters both in Nigeria and in diaspora. This is what we're calling a wrap on today's broadcast. Please, our numbers are still there on your screen. Give us a call today ahead of that beautiful event of yours. Let us know when is the date that your event is coming up, and we'll be there with multi-cameras, with drones, cinematographers professionally trained to ensure a classic coverage. Until our next broadcast, I remain sincerely yours, Fumilayo Okorafor. Keep watching JEP TV.